Dana here to your right. First of all, I don't know if you saw it, but the City Tavares rematch, the split decision in the end. What were your thoughts on that? The media scored it 100% for City.
Yeah, I had a lot of people blowing me up saying he got screwed in that fight. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it. I didn't score it. I didn't watch it closely enough to have an opinion, but you're not the first one to tell me that.
Considering it started in the Contender Series and they're 1-1, could you envision a point where they maybe finish that out, that trilogy?
What's the question?
They started out on the
Right.
Contender Series, right? So they're 1-1
Right.
now. Would you consider doing a third fight for them down the line?
And this was the one that we were supposed to squash the whole controversy. Yeah. That didn't work out too well. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And I know you kind of answered this somewhat, but when the trash talk between Sean and Dreykus got a little dark there with the child abuse and then the brawl at 296, did you ever consider going to those guys and saying, hey, this might be the one time you need to tone it down?
This might be the one time you need to what?
Tone it down, the trash talk?
I don't tell anybody to do anything. I don't try to control any other human beings in any way, shape, or form. They do it this way. I say it all the time. We're in the fight business, and, you know, if you get your feelings hurt that bad, you probably shouldn't ask the type of questions when you know the answer you're going to get from Strickland. Let's start there. You know what I mean? If you ask him, you know who he is, and if you ask him a certain question, he was baited in that question.
Well, I'm not, sorry, my mistake. Not referring to that question. Just, you know, Strickland got a little.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I know what you asked me. It is what it is. It's the fight business, man.
Last one for me. You talked about maybe coming back to Canada. We're seeing the Saudi Arabia show this year. Are there any other destinations maybe that you haven't been to before that you'll be going back to this year that you can let us know about?
Now, right now, Saudi Arabia is going to be the first place, that we've never been. And who knows, I've been saying this all week. We have this card here. We got Anaheim. We got Miami. We got 300. We got Mexico City. And we have the Sphere. We have a ton of and that doesn't include International Fight Week. We got a ton of badass fights lined up this year. And as those play out, they will determine where we go in October, November, and December. So who knows where we could end up by the end of this year.
Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Dana over here.
Yep.
Raquel Pennington was saying kind of all week that this fight was originally supposed to be her and Juliana Pena, and we know Juliana was injured. She called her out in the cage saying this is a fight she's wanted since The Ultimate Fighter 10 years ago. Is it a pretty safe bet if Juliana gets healthy, that's the direction to go for her first title defense?
Yeah, could happen, yeah. I mean, I sitting right here now, I don't know what Juliana's situation is, but, yeah, I mean, they're eventually going to fight.
Yeah, and as far as the middleweight title, you have Hamzat Chimaev out there tweeting to Drickus right now saying, see you at UFC 300. We know Drickus versus Adesanya is a huge fight too. What is going to be the process you guys take in figuring out what Drickus's next title defense will be? Because those are obviously both huge fights.
We'll figure this out Tuesday. We'll probably announce it next week.
Okay. Do you know what Izzy's availability is? Is he trying to fight again this year?
Do I know?
Israel Adesanya, is he looking to come back sooner than later? Do you know?
We'll find out next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Dana, I just want to go back. You were talking about, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash? Free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people. I don't fucking tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want, and they can believe whatever they want. And I don't think there's any... We had two gay women who fought in the co-main event. They sat on the stage with Sean Strickland. They could give a shit what Sean Strickland thinks or what he says or what his beliefs are or what his opinions are. You know what I mean? Go ahead. What do you got?
I want to go back as well. A number of months ago, you spoke with a Sports Business Journal about that you were going to be sitting down with Jimmy Pitaro and talking about the future at ESPN beyond 2025. That was several months ago. At this point, are you still in the midst of like early negotiations, and are you envisioning post 2025 and ESPN being a big part of those?
Yeah, our deal is coming up, and yeah, I believe that talks will begin here with ESPN within the next 3 or 4 months.
And my last question, just because Mark Shapiro's talked a bit about the idea of these kind of super weekends with WWE, of going to a site one night, a WWE event, another night, a UFC event. Do you think that that type of thing works? And do you think that there are strategic ways to cross-promote between the two when there are distinct audiences as well that come with these products?
Could not agree with you more. I don't think, what I think is, if you take a city, I don't know, let's take a city like New York, Los Angeles, and any of the major cities, and you have both events the same weekend, right? I think you're going to bring in a lot of people that aren't the same people. And I think it would be very big for some of these major cities. I think it's what you're looking for is an economic impact. You want hotels to be sold out. You want restaurants to be filled. You want people out shopping and hanging out. And yeah, I think that the WWE, the UFC, and a lot of other of our properties could definitely do that.
Would those likely be international destinations, or?
I think they could be anywhere. I think they could be international. I think they could be in the United States. We could literally do that anywhere. We both have, between us and the UFC, we both have pretty big followings, and I agree with you that they're not the same fan base.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Hey, Dana, right here. You watched some local Canadian MMA last night at the Unified event, and from all accounts, it was a strong card. But, however, in light of a rough night for Canadians in the UFC tonight, what do you think needs to happen for another Canadian for Canada to get another title contender? Is there anything we can pinpoint?
No, I think first of all, that show that I went to last night, I love the venue. I mean, we're driving in all these back alleys and shit, and I'm like, what is this fight club we're going to here? Then we got to the destination and went inside. It was incredible. It was an incredible venue. And the promoters of that event were all class, and it was a really good setup there for looking for a fight. And I think that if Canada continues throughout the country to have promotions like that give these guys opportunities to get out there and get some wins, like that kid Mo, that fought, all I heard about the week leading up to this thing was this kid Mo. He's 23 years old and he's 3-0. I get it. You're excited. You got a kid that looks like but that kid, he needs time. I told him last night, don't listen to anybody telling you, take your time. You're 23. You got nothing but time. And, we'll see what this kid's got in another, a year or so. Probably have 3 or 4 more fights. And if he's 7-0 and continues to do this, then yeah. But it's about having these smaller promotions in this country and putting on fights as many times as they can a year.
I think a lot of people were looking at welterweight Mike Malott as kind of the front runner of this new wave of Canadians coming in MMA and the UFC. Obviously, he was very close to cracking into the top 15 tonight, but falls short with just a few seconds left. Do you think Mike Malott can still bounce back and become a star or somewhat of a star at 170?
Of course. Tonight was a big test for him. And I knew that coming in because everybody was talking about Mike this week too. And I said, we're going to find out on Saturday. This is his first big test. He's going to walk into a sold-out arena in his home country. There's a different type of pressure that goes on. And, mentally and emotionally, it's completely different. And it weighs on you physically when you get in there. He looked incredible until the last minute of the fight. And unfortunately, that's how it turned out for him. But he'll learn from this. He'll grow from this. And we'll see where he goes. But this doesn't mean he can't be a star in Canada.
Yeah. There's obviously a lot of talk about Khamzat Chimaev potentially being next in line for a middleweight title shot. He posted some concerning health updates on social media a few weeks ago. Seems like he's okay. I mean, now he's obviously calling to fight at UFC 300. But do you know for sure, do you have any sort of official update on where he's at?
Yeah, it's weird. He did get very sick. And, I know he's better. I don't know if he's let's fight in 300 better, but we'll see.
Yeah. And Magomed Ankalaev won the first UFC main event of 2024 last weekend. He obviously wants to fight Alex Pereira for the next title fight. Jamal Hill he says he's been promised that next title fight when he's ready to go. Any idea which way you guys will go there?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. We good? Go ahead, sir. How are you?
Hi, Dana. Keith Weedier with Ottawa Life Magazine. First of all, congratulations to you and your team on putting on another fantastic event.
Thank you, sir.
Take you back last year, I had the privilege of being accredited for UFC 285, and during that, there was some filming for this movie called Roadhouse. Turns out that's being released on March 31st. I was wondering if you've had a chance to see it, and if so, how do you grade your feature film debut acting performance?
Mine?
Yeah, because with the face-offs that you did with the Jake Gyllenhaal character.
Oh, yeah. Is that my acting? No, if that's my acting, then, yeah. No, I don't act. I haven't seen it yet. We have it at the office, but I haven't seen it yet. I need to watch it, but I haven't.
Okay. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. I noticed there was a bit of a costume change. Before you skip town, are you thinking of going skiing tonight?
No, I'm going right to the plane and going home, man. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I had to get the hell out of that suit. It was driving me crazy. You going with me?
Just one real quick, actually, Dana.
Yeah.
Since it's on the topic of Roadhouse, that leads to Conor McGregor. Can you clarify what's going on with him? Because he announced that he's fighting June 29th. Obviously, nothing official has come from the UFC. Right. Is that what you guys are leaning towards? I know you made some comments this week, too, in an interview, I think, with Sportsnet, and maybe it was taken a little bit out of context in terms of, like, the clarity. So where do things stand with Conor right now? Is he fighting in June?
No. When Conor's ready to fight, we'll announce it. That's what we do.
June is a possibility, though?
I don't know.
Okay.
Good? What's up, buddy? Thank you, buddy. Thanks for coming.